No, because Wings wasn't. It depends what you call Wings. Wings up to that point had been a band, you see. Wings now was just me, Paul and Linda. It was a completely different, same name, different vibe, you know. And I think because the pressure was on to do a good album, and because the time was booked, I mean, that sounds corny, but that's the way it was. We weren't going to go home, we were there. We'd already got the plane tickets, and we decided to go ahead with it. Now, the fact that we were in Africa, a lot of influences. Ginger Baker was down the road. In fact, we did one track in his studio, and Ginger's an old friend of mine from way back. In fact, I was with Ginger Baker's Air Force, you know, and the very first Moodies tour, the Chuck Berry tour, he was in the Graham Bond organisation with Jack Bruce, so we were friends. He had a studio there. That was one particular atmospheric, you know, vibe that we picked up on because he knew everybody there. We were taken out to clubs and watching them doing their music, you know, their big shows they had with loads of people in them, you know, Africa 70, Remy Kabaka, great conga players, and all these people that we met were great at that music, you know. Fella Ransom Kuti, Africa 70, all those people were just amazing. Energy, you know, and their own music, of course. But we were influenced by that, I suppose the energy of it. And that put us on the same level as far as what we were doing with the album. So, you know, we were there as their guests, you know, listening to their music and having it influence us, and therefore we came into the studio with that attitude. Hey, we're going to try and be as good as them, if not better. You know, like I was saying before. That was it. So we got that feel from being in Lagos, and then of course when we brought it back to England, people like Brian Ferry would pop by and just go, "Oh, that sounds a bit good," you know, and it's just this is as we maybe just putting the strings on or something, you know. It's still in its sort of infancy, whatever track it was, and people were picking up on it before it was even finished because of the energy of the, you know, the basic drum tracks and stuff. You got this going off again. 1 second. Well, like I say, you know, it's all down to that initial where you are that you actually do the recording. That's what I was saying before. You're influenced by your environment or the musicians. I mean, for example, when we went to Nashville, great players there, you know, the standard of playing is very, very good. And you try to, you know, learn what they know, and they get something from you too. You might have parties, they're all there. The people that wrote, you know, all the Everett Brothers songs are there. You know, Johnny Cash is coming over later. Roy Orbison's just turned up with his new wife. You know, it was that kind of, the influences that you get by being in that position is amazing. Wherever part of the world you're in, you know, they all gravitate towards Paul. So, you know, again, it's a challenge to try and come up with something that is influenced by or mimics what that particular style of music, whether it be bluegrass, country, you know, reggae. We were very heavily into reggae at one time. We loved reggae. And to this day, last time I saw Paul, we went to see UB40 in Wembley. So, you know, all that stuff is our influences are very, very similar. Very, very similar. We always used to listen to Radio Luxembourg in the old days, you know, and that came across because the American forces in Germany, that was their radio station, and we used to get it. So we used to have all that influence of all the American music as kids, you know, and that's what I'm saying. But we as a band, Wings, we're now travelling and seeing places. You know, we're going on making records on boats. We're doing this and we're doing that, and everyone has this little thing about it. It's the atmosphere of where you are, the mood you're in. You know.
Yeah.